Hello and welcome to #Africa, where we bring you the latest news from across the continent. I'm Ropiwa Madzana. Let's kick off with some of this week's top stories. 4 members of the Kenyan militant group Al-Shabaab appear in court on Tuesday for sentencing. They've been arrested and charged with the terrorist offences carried out at the Garissa University in Kenya 4 years ago. In 2015, hundreds of people were killed in a massacre that took place on the campus. The attack targeted Christian students. Some were taken hostage and others killed, while Muslim students were spared. 148 were killed and 79 were injured in that attack. Former Egyptian President Mohammed Mursi was laid to rest in Cairo after being refused burial in his hometown of Shargiya in the Nile Delta. The 67-year-old suffered a heart attack during his trial and died in court on Monday. He was accused of falsifying his candidacy applications for the presidency in 2012. Despite being banned from the Muslim Brotherhood, he was laid to rest in Cairo alongside senior figures. His sudden death has put the international pressure on the Egyptian government about the state of their prisons, where many activists are currently being held. Sudan's ousted leader Omar al-Bashir has been charged with corruption. His first public appearance since being overthrown in April was on Sunday, when he was driven from jail to the prosecutor's office. Meanwhile, demonstrations in the capital Khartoum are still ongoing, with protesters demanding an immediate transfer of power to a civilian government.
This is the first public sighting of Sudan's ex-president since he was toppled 2 months ago. On Sunday, Omar al-Bashir was driven to a prosecutor's office in Khartoum, surrounded by security, where he was charged with corruption-related offences. The long-standing ex-leader has been in prison since April 11th, after the military overthrew him following 16 weeks of protest against his 3-decade rule. The military council since set up a transitional council and began talks with an alliance of protest and opposition groups. However, discussions over who would lead a 3-year transition of power have stalled. That after security forces crushed a protest on June 3rd, which left more than 100 people dead. People have since continued to protest in request of a civilian rule. On Friday, the top US diplomat for Africa said outside mediation is needed to defuse the crisis, as the ruling military council and opposition distrust each other too deeply for direct talks.
When we return, measles in the Democratic Republic of Congo is killing more people than Ebola. And later in the show, we take a culinary trip to Ethiopia. Stay tuned to #Africa.